What's going on, guys? I just want to let you guys know that this was a two-part podcast that I did with Omar, a.k.a. Wolf. It was a 2-hour conversation and I didn't want to cut any of it out. The first part will be about being black in the military, and the second part that comes out next week will be about how to run a successful brand with purpose behind it. Hybrid Garbs, a rapidly evolving streetwear clothing brand that was originally founded by his twin brother that passed away due to a tragic event. We talk about where the brand is and why it's so much bigger than a clothing line. This conversation got very personal and vulnerable, and I can't wait for you guys to hear it. If you haven't already, please like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Enjoy the show. Back again, Black is the New Rich, episode 14. Today we got a very special guest, the man, the myth, the legend. We recently connected, and I know there's a lot going on, so I had to reach out, and I wanted to get his story. But further ado, I want you to introduce yourself.
Man like Wolf, fire in the booth. No, my name's Omar, preferably Wolf. We'll get into why that is. And I'm the owner of Hybrid Garbs. I shouldn't even like to say the owner. I just want to say the owner. I don't want to say the founders. I mean, a lot of people don't know the story about how it started, but I'm the owner. It's in my possession is what I like to, out of respect for my brother and stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
And yeah, we're gonna get into who I am and what I do and all that stuff in this great conversation. Super excited to be here. Like, subscribe, send to a friend, because this podcast, I've been watching it for the last 5 episodes, and Corey, you're doing some big stuff.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
I'm locked in. I've sent to people. It's changing lives. People are like, yo, when's the next episode coming on? And I'm like,
appreciate it.
Shit, it might be me. So, I'm happy to be here, and I'm excited to have this conversation with you.
All right, Brett. So I see you have Hybrid. You're in the military. Someone told me that.
Someone told
me that. And I do see your movement with mental balance, right? So those are the things you have going on right now. And I'm going to come back to those things. But first, I want to know the lead up to how you got to where you are today. Let's take it back, maybe since we're 22.
Honestly, man, there's so many, when they say a year's a long time. It's so short, but it's a long time because so much can happen in a year. If you ask me when I was in university, even earlier high school, where I'd be at 30 years old today. COVID took away 2 years. I'd like to go back to being 28, but I'm 30 now. I would have gave you a different answer. Life has its ways. I used to play soccer, baller, soccer player. You think you're gonna be Pele or Ronaldinho. You think you're gonna be something. I got the scholarship. Went away to the States, came back, then, went to University in Sudbury. And honestly, soccer just wasn't hitting.
Wasn't fulfilling the purpose.
It wasn't fulfilling the purpose. I got hurt a little bit too. So you start to get a reality check I'm not going to be a pro soccer player. So what's next? And at the time, before I joined the Army, my definition, being a gamer and all, doing Call of Duty and stuff like that, and watching all these Army movies, my definition of a man was a soldier. I felt like soldiers were real men. Those you see the Russians are not the Russians are bad example, but you see the Americans, the GI Joes and stuff, you feel like those are real soldiers. You know what I mean? So I felt like to be a man, to really call yourself a man, you should be a soldier. So I joined, and I was wrong. You don't need to being a soldier doesn't make you a man, but it definitely helped me grow as a man for sure. I think I would never be who I am today if I wasn't in the military. This is not a recruiting, or we'll use it as a recruiting campaign.
How long ago was the military for you?
First of all, I'm still in the Army active right now, but I started in 2015. So
that's young.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if I knew what I knew now then, I would have started right at 16.
Really?
But I was and it's just better because the trade that I'm in, which is infantry, so what you guys would know as the shoot 'em up, bang bang, those guys, that's what I do, and that's a young man's game. You gotta be it's like a sport. At your peak level, you're running down, carrying all those weights. You got the water, the ammo, your vest, the weapon, and if you're a big dog, you're carrying the machine gun. And
so where are you right now?
So right now, I'm based out of downtown Toronto, actually, at Fort York. And my role right now is just teaching. So yeah.
So you did all the levels.
I did, I did all that. I'm right now, I'm a master corporal, sergeant qualified, so I should be getting promoted soon. And I just teach. So if you join the Army tomorrow and you join my particular unit, so how it works is you have units around the city. So let's call them all high schools.
Okay.
So if you want to come to my high school and join my high school, I'll teach you.
Oh, okay.
If you go to like another high school, we might meet, but you have like
they have their own teacher.
They have their own teachers. We have our own teachers, and we kind of come together if like we're doing an exercise or a tournament.
Oh, okay.
Say a better example.
Okay.
So that's what I do now. I'm taking a step back. I'm taking 2 months off right now for hybrids.
Dope.
I think it's time. You know, I preach to a lot of people. You can't half-ass things. You can't say you want something to be like, if you want to be a professional basketball player,
instant gratification.
You gotta be, you gotta do what you gotta do.
Put in the work.
You can't be working a full-time job, a night shift, and then train 2 hours a day and say I want to be a professional basketball player, but I'm doing all this. So I have to. So I was at a spot where I saved enough money, and I said, I'm gonna stop working for a little bit. So right now it's just hybrids.
Yeah.
And it's a scary thing.
Yeah, because you took that leap.
Yeah, that's why
because the military sounds like it was like your security as well.
Yeah. Oh yeah. The military is like school. That's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
So if anything right now, and God forbid hybrids took a left and went south or something like that, I'll just go back.
Yeah.
And
work,
call it a day. And that's what I don't want to do. So work is hard. That's why Sam's podcast, when I saw you talking to Sam, that's why it hit, because people don't understand the entrepreneur.
Yeah, they don't.
You don't understand how scary it gets. Like when you make decisions to stop doing everything else to do what you're doing, it's scary, scary, scary business. And the Army's a big part of my life. Like that, the Army helped me through everything. Yeah. And what type of lessons are you learning in the military? Obviously the discipline, the rigorous training, like what's going on? Because you're the first person that I know that's like did the Army thing. To honestly, be honest, for me, so the first thing is, man is a summer man, So, first of all, I joined the Army in Sudbury. So first thing, Sudbury is cold as shit. That's the first part. That's when I first I remember walking to school one day, like class, out of the dorm, and it was like -40. Bro, I just went back inside and sent the email. I can't make it to class. It's dangerous outside. In Toronto, they would have shut down the schools for that weather. But they were like it's every day, like you gotta come. So when I joined the Army, I joined there. So immediately I was in like winter training. So you're sleeping outside. Sleeping outside. So when I say like, first of all, the sky in the north is different. The stars are very nice. You can see everything clearly. I'm looking at the sky and I'm like, yo, what am I doing here? Like, and at that point, and this is no shade to that unit, but there was no other black people. Like, that's just how geographically, that's just how it goes. And they were very like, I never experienced racism yet there, but it was dope. Like, you sit and look at the sky like, black people shouldn't be here. And you look to the left and it's like they're having a great time. It's like, now that I know, they were just good at suffering in silence. Whereas I was suffering out loud, like complaining, it's cold. And you get to that breaking point where like your mind starts to play games, and then now it's a whole mental thing. Your body's not even involved. Just pure mentals. You're literally talking yourself up or talking yourself down. Jeez. And now it's just, and that can make you or break you. Man, you have people quitting like just off of, I can't do this. No, I don't want to do it. And then you start to break down like what you could be doing instead. And you start to look at, and this is where like Instagram will be the death of you. You start looking at like what other people are doing. So why am I here in the Army? And again, no shade to the Army, but it's not the best paying job. It's not like we were there for the money. So you start really like, yo. So that's where you learn a lot of lessons. You learn how to fight through mentally. The Army will break you to the point where you now are unbreakable. Like little things can't bother you. So like would you say like you went through many like ego deaths in the military? I like, there is some points where like I was like, naturally if me and you go to the gym together and we're both home weights, my pride is not gonna let you beat me. I'm gonna pump what you're pumping. We're gonna get this done. But there's times where guys are like, and younger guys too, like, and they're just beating me out at everything. I felt like I didn't feel like a man. The same reason I joined, it wasn't hitting. I didn't feel like the man that I joined to be. So it put things in perspective. Like, humility was a huge thing over there. Like, rank is a big thing. They go by rank. We don't go by age. Like, so my boss, even right now, like one of my captains, he's like 25. So he's 5 years younger than I am. And he just, he was smart. He just joined the Army at a young age, did his job, ranked up, and now he's where he's at.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of humility, a lot of, you know, I thought I was a leader before the Army.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was captain of my soccer teams and stuff. The Army showed me that I wasn't the leader that I thought I was.
In what ways?
You know what? A lot of time, for instance, soccer.
Mm-hmm.
When I was in my last year of university at Laurentian, and like, I hope that I'm gonna send this to the guys that were on the team at that time. I wasn't a good leader when I was the captain my last year because I was doing a lot of dictating versus leading by example.
True.
At that point, I was already like a 3-time OUA All-Star.
Mm-hmm.
Like my chest was a little big. I'm the captain now. I'm the oldest on the team. I've already done my work to show you guys that I'm good.
Yeah.
I did feel I was the best player at the time. So I was a dickhead. I wasn't a good leader, and I was leading off of what I did and not what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm. Not in the moment.
Not in the moments.
Mm-hmm.
You what you did, cool, but you gotta like lead off of what is happening right now, what you're doing right now.
Mm-hmm.
And the Army showed me that like nobody really cares about what you did.
Mm-hmm.
So that's all about what you're doing right now.
Mm-hmm.
And I learned that because, you know, every single day in the field, like there's a new situation, a new person's having a mental breakdown,
Jeez.
a new person's crumbling, and you gotta like really lead by example.
Yeah.
You can't talk about surviving and you're not surviving.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, you know what? When I got to that point where I saw people watching me, I was like, okay, let me tough it out. People are watching me. Let me suffer in silence around the corner, or so the Army made me a big time leader because I knew what it take to show other people the way. Like, just follow me, and the job will get done. Or I would honestly also be very vulnerable with my feelings too.
I was about to ask you that. Being vulnerable in the military, is that looked at as weakness? Or
no? And you know what? Like when the guys first join, even me, you think you're soft doing that. You think you're soft, like, but man, I joined 2015. So this is like, remember, 9/11 and stuff. So
yeah,
4 years too late to go to the whole Afghanistan thing.
True. So
the guys that are my superiors right now, they were in Afghanistan. We had guys who didn't come back from Afghanistan. So we've had conversations where, obviously we'll get into my brother's situation, but when that happened, they were right there. They came to my house. We spoke about it. Mm-hmm. They knew what I was going through, right? Mm-hmm. So, we connect on a different level. It's a safe place. Like, we don't shy away from that. And yeah, there's gonna be guys who, obviously it's still the Army. Mm-hmm. And we want to make sure that we're still growing soldiers that are tough. So I'm gonna throw some jabs. We're gonna make fun of each other and stuff like that. Even though like the world is changing, we still try to keep it to a point where like, okay, this is the Army, right?
Yeah. And
we're still adjusting as well. But it is a very safe place to speak about your emotions and your feelings, because the reality is, in worst case situation, you're gonna go to war with these guys,
mm-hmm. and you're gonna need them.
And I'm gonna need to know that you're okay, your mind's right.
True.
To get the job done.
True.
And if something's not sitting well with you at home, something's not, you're going through a breakup, because you remember these kids. Think back to when we went through stuff, right? Mm-hmm. Now you go through, your girl breaks up with you on Friday morning, and we're going away Friday night to see the weekend in -40.
So you have to.
Your mind's already half done.
Yeah.
Because and there's no harm in or shame in saying it. Like, as big as Wolf is now, like, bro, I've been in the heartbreak seat, like,
mm-hmm.
And I've been in the heartbreak seat while I was at the Army.
Jeez.
Like, I've been in the negative quotes, stressing over gal.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so. We definitely want to make it so that people know, like, yo, if you're going through something, talk about it. Let me walk you through it, but we got to get the job done.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So we definitely train, like, we're going to fight. Like, I can't have you stressing about your loss in the basketball game that you just took.
Mm-hmm.
I can't, you missed you missed the penalty in soccer. Your girlfriend broke up with you. Your parents are going through a divorce. We got to know all that stuff.
Yeah.
That's just,
because you could lose your life.
And then,
thinking about stuff like that.
Think of it from a simple standpoint too, training with live rounds. Bro, you start training the wrong way, and a man gets depressed, and he's, suicide is a real thing too.
True.
He turns it on himself or tries to take people with him because he's emotionally not there.
Mm-hmm.
We got to talk about that. So we definitely do a good job making sure everyone knows, like, open their policy full effect, because it is real life. It's not far fetched. Mm-hmm. We've seen it where people are really, doing stuff that hurt other people, and we're training at 16 years old. We're giving a 16-year-old kid like a machine gun, and all the ammo in the world. So he makes a wrong decision and turns that, like, we're done, right? So we want to definitely just
take care of the mind.
And take care of the mind. That's why mental balance is so important to me too, because you start to realize, like, I think that we say it all the time, like, it sucks, but we're all gonna embrace the suck together. Like it does suck. Remember, even though I'm teaching, I'm in the field with them.
Yeah, true.
So it doesn't. They're going through it, and I'm yelling at them, but I'm still here too.
Yeah.
So like, you know, like we're all going through this together, and we're all gonna eat it up together. So you just gotta embrace the suck, is what we say. So tough in the army, but
but there's a lot of good lessons that come from it.
1,000%.
You wouldn't take it back.
I would join earlier. Sure. I would have, honestly, looking at things now, you know, you everyone's gonna say what they could have, should have done, and you know, I probably might have taken the army more seriously than I took soccer.
Really?
Yeah.
That's a big statement.
Yeah, and you know, soccer was my heart. It brought me like my best friends, family. You know, like to see the guys on the national team right now make the World Cup. Like, congrats to them. Like, I played with those guys. You know, like Daniel Henry, Jonathan Osorio, those guys. Like, seeing that is like, wow. Like, we're living through history, and I'm so happy to know those people that are making history. But in regards to where I want to be, where I would have been, how I want to help the world, and seeing where the world's at right now, I would have definitely been full throttle Afghanistan, no problem. And not because like it's cool or anything totally and stuff, but when you go travel and you see different places of the world, you'll see that we are so lucky to be Canadian, and we don't even actually realize it. And people really, 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 really do have the time of day to complain about some stuff that don't matter.
True.
Like, there's people like the fact that we're even allowed to have opinions is it's crazy to say this, but we're lucky. Yeah. You know, that in certain Middle East countries, women can't
voice nothing.
Yeah. They're not even allowed to learn. Yeah. And we can pick, choose, and refuse what school we're going to. We can bash shit. Like, if any Humber mans are listening to this, it's a Sheridan thing. Yeah? Like, I don't know if Corey remembers, but I went to Sheridan. So I did. You know, so I know I saw that Humber just won that basketball thing. It's still a Sheridan thing. You know, good for those guys. But you know, we have the opportunity to choose, make so many decisions, and to make positive ones and negative ones. You know, like that's the hybrid. Like, there's no good without bad. We have the choice to make good choices and bad choices. Sometimes you're actually forced to make the bad choice. Like, you know, the African countries that are just forcing young kids to join like the militias and stuff, and then they're raping women and stuff like that. Like, these kids are being forced into these negative lifestyles. And then you have, like, obviously, you know, in Russia, there's conscription. So you got people that don't want to be soldiers, but they have to be soldiers. You got people that don't want to be in armies, but they have to be for a year. Me personally, I'll be honest with you though, I think it's a great idea to have a year. Yeah, I think it would change people's perspective on life. Like, yeah, join the army for a year, make it mandatory, get some discipline in everybody, but more so appreciation for a comfy bed. Gratitude. Like, bro, I can sleep anywhere now. I can sleep on the couch. I can sleep on the floor. Yeah. Because in the field, you're looking for the closest tree branch, and you're like, hey, this one's nice, and you're worried about. Yeah, you're like, you know, you get your backpack, and you're like, hey, a little cushion, and then you get your rifle, and you're holding it like this, good position, and someone's what's going on? Like, so we actually, like, it's called bumping. So like, we'll have them sleep, and they'll be sleeping till like, let's say 2 a.m. And like 3:30, we're just like, all right, we're gonna wake them up and see how fast they can get ready. So remember, people understand. It's like negative like 20.
That's crazy.
You're in your sleeping bags and stuff, and you're just in the tents. And yeah, we'll just see how fast you can get ready. Different. Imagine looking for your sock, your shoe. Yo, it was worse for me because I was blind at the time too. So I'm looking for my contacts, my glasses. I'm looking for everything. I'm coming out there. And at some point, like in the spring and the summer, you actually just see mans, like, they get bumped. You should just see mans, no shirt, no socks, just pants and gun on standby. Like, yeah, because bro, if you're getting attacked, what are we waiting for? We're able to dress up later. So there's a lot of simulations that we do that are real life stuff, and to see it like play out, and yeah, man, it's the army.
It's experience.
I would strongly advise. I don't even know. I don't know if it's on Trudeau, but I'd strongly advise him or whoever is after that to make it mandatory. But you know, not everyone's gonna like that. I just think, for my opinion, there's a lot of pros to it, a lot of disciplines, and a lot of just respect you build in camaraderie. Like I said, it's like a sport. Like, you're going there with people that you wouldn't normally be around, and that's a big thing about sports too. Sports in the army, like, you're gonna meet people and interact with people that you wouldn't choose to do on your own. True. And that's the biggest thing. Like, we're meeting all different races, all different people that you wouldn't. You know, when they say, you know, let's do a group project, you're gonna pick your boy. When that teacher says, no, I'm assigning it, you're like, oh shit. Like, but then you meet like that kid in the class that you would have never spoken to, and the kid's actually a dope kid.
Mm-hmm.
The Army does a lot of that stuff. Like I teach now, so there's a separation, but I'm meeting some people that are like, I wouldn't have spoken to you.
Yeah.
Just, and you know, I say this as respectful as I can, but just off of how they look.
Mm-hmm.
And that's messed up. Like we make decisions, they don't really look like my type of person.
Yeah, true.
All right, so I'm already gonna speak to them. Then I start speaking to some kids. I'm like, holy, you're a dope individual. Like, yeah. So then you ever come to one of my parties, you'll see like, you know, I got the Army guys, the soccer guys, the bike squad is a whole different thing.
Yeah.
And then I have some randos who were like, yo, how you know this guy? Yo, bro, I'm a people person. I like to meet people. Everywhere I go, I will like, you know, we want to get black men.
I was just gonna ask
to start passing each other and saying hi a little bit more and giving each other public dabs and not with that tension. Bro,
there's a lot of that tension.
And it's all like how we were raised, you know, how it grows. Like, you know, look at high schools. You're not from my high school. Like,
yeah.
Who are you? Like coming in a uniform. I'm not going to Gates in a uniform. Like those guys are like, what are you doing over here? It's very like, from the root of it, it's all gang mentality, right? Just, you're not from my area. Like, what are you doing here? Okay, I've never seen you before. We're just so aggressive towards each other. So the Army can honestly, it can get rid of all that. Yeah, is there negatives in the Army? Absolutely. There's negatives in everything. You're gonna, you know, someone's watching this and be like, no, there's racism in the Army. Yeah, of course, 100%. Have I experienced it? Yeah, 100%. But I've experienced racism in school. I've experienced it when I worked at FedEx. Like, it's just, there's racism everywhere, and that's how you deal with it, right? The organization is still full of humans, and there's still gonna be human errors, human mistakes, human feelings,
and change can happen.
So we're working through it. Again, it's a very, very, very big part of my life. I probably will never quit until they force me out. And even if Hybrids does really, really well and I was a millionaire, I wouldn't quit the Army.
Wow.
I would. If Hybrids turns into $1 million company tomorrow,
which it will. No, not if.
Yeah, when, not if. When it happens, we'll get into what Hybrids is about. But when it happens, I wouldn't quit. I would go bless the man them. I would go get us like airsoft guns and run a sick training camp.
Yeah.
But no, that the Army definitely has my heart and soul for sure. 100%.
How can we bring more black men to the Army? So
it's funny. An article just came out the other day from Toronto Star talking about the Army's too white and too male. And I laughed. I copied the email. And I sent another email and I copied so yeah, I'm looking for a contract doing recruiting because we obviously have a problem here. And I was trying to secure my position in the bag, right? Yeah. So, you know, there's a lot of misunderstandings with the Army. You don't have to be what I am. You don't have to be the shoot 'em up bang bang guy. Like, you know, you don't have to be the gunman. You're going to learn everyone has to learn how to use guns. But remember, everything we call it civilians. It's funny because the same way the streets call it civilians is the same way the Army calls it civilians.
Interesting.
So civilians, like civies, everything you guys have in your civilian life, we have in the Army. So we got doctors, lawyers, police officers, firefighters,
your
therapists.
Own set.
We have our own set of that. So if you're doing that or you want to aspire to do that, you can do that in the Army. You can just do it in the Army. And not to say it's easier to get in, but if you do it via the Army chain, you're actually probably more likely to get it done. And then you could take it and go back to the civilian life and use it as a transferable skill. Like, I know it costs a lot of money right now to get your AZ, DZ and stuff like that, like 10K or whatever. It's free in the Army. So you can join the Army, you get it there, and take it. Yeah,
now
it's free.
Everywhere is free.
So I think for us, especially as black people, it's always been a lack of knowledge and a lack of understanding and who's going to connect the dots. Like, you know, financial education is just something we were never taught. So who's going to bring it to us? Before I started teaching, my job was recruiting. So I was going to like all the Toronto schools in Rexdale, like Father Henry Carr and them and talking to kids about why they should join. And I had like 10 out of maybe like 50 kids, like 10 would join.
Jeez, that's good. That's a good rate.
And I wasn't getting paid per number, but you know, I'm just trying to tell the Army why they should get me the job. It was dope to see. But the first thing, you know, anyone's gonna ask you is, do I gotta go to war? Or do I gotta do this? It's like it's not like that. Especially with the reserves, there's a big difference. Like, I'm a reservist with.
What does that mean?
So there's part-time and there's full-time. If you really want to do Army and that's all you want to do, you don't mind being away long periods of time from your family and stuff, you might look at full-time. Okay. There's a lot more benefits too. Like, you'll get your education fully paid for. You know, obviously you sign a contract now, so you're going to be employed for the next like 5-6 years. But you know, the cons, you know, you're gonna go away.
Yeah.
You will, if something happens, you are going. Whereas reserves now is the best part-time job to have.
Yeah.
Because we are very, very much trying to make sure that you do what you do civicide and bring that education here.
True.
And that knowledge here. So we want you to go to school. We want you to have another job. We want you to do all these amazing things and just add your experience to the growth of the Army as well. So you're going to have doctors who join. Like I taught a principal. Principal was about to retire and said, you know, like, I want to try this out.
Wow.
You know, dude was like 45.
Any age.
Yeah, any age. You just have to be under, I think it's like, don't call me, like 65 or something like that.
Oh.
But he was 45.
Yeah.
And, you know, like, I'm his teacher now. So I'm yelling at him and I'm having a field day with him because he's principal.
Yeah.
I'm just like, yo, I remember my principals. If I could just run it back on him. So I'm having a field day. We're making fun. I'm like, yeah, like, sir, I just be respectful. I'm like, sir, listen, give me 10 push-ups. You know? Like, I would just go into him. But it was crazy. Like,
That's
principals
dope.
make money, eh?
Yeah.
So he wasn't there for the money.
He's there for the mindset.
He was there for the mindset. He wanted to try it out, and he made it. He was doing better than all the kids because he knew why he was there. He came in there with the mentality that he wanted to see how it was, and he made it happen. And it was amazing to see that. And you look back at why. Oh, you know, I want to try something new. It's like, you know, when you have that kind of like financial freedom and you have a good job, you can make decisions like that.
Yeah.
I think for us as Black people, we don't have a lot of breathing room to make mistakes and and when I say make mistakes, I mean put yourself in a hole financially and then be able to recover. Or like we don't have
lack the education,
and we lack the education, or we don't have, you know, mommy to give us the kickstart to do something like, you know, this podcast costs money. That's out of your bag, right? You know, somebody else's mom might have provided it all and the space and the studio, set you up. You don't have to leave home. You got the basement's just your spot. The whole thing's set up. Now you're late. Now all your money's in your pocket. Then you take the 100K you make, no expenses, and you go do what you're doing. Like I just got a spot for Hybrids, and now, you know, Hybrids does X amount per month. Let's say that on the podcast. And now we have rent. It's like, the X amount is done. You know, so it's just, I think we need, you know, more people in better positions. And that's why I love teaching, because I want to just show Black men and everyone really, because I'll be the first to tell you, like, I love people as a whole, but there was a lot of situations that's been happening lately in the media that I had to remind people, before everything, I'm a Black man. So I love, you know, Asian people, Indian people, white people are cool. Like I love everybody, but I'm still Black men first, and I want to make sure Black people are good first.
Cool. Because
we've been behind so far that we're trying to just catch up. So that is one of my biggest priorities right now, to make sure, the Army does see a lot more Black people, because it's an amazing organization to be a part of, and we can make it better. It's like sports. Like the sports is filled with Black people. True. We make it better. You know, the rap culture and music's filled with Black people. You know, we add a little spice. Come bring it to the Army. We might solve a lot more problems, right? So I just,
a good analogy.
Yeah, like I think the world needs to see more people of color in positions, so they all believe it. Because remember, if we look at like 2035, you know, everyone's gonna be mixed with something. There's gonna be more mixed
so much
people.
Crossbreeding going on.
You might have that application that's, you know, the application right now that's kind of beneficial to us when it comes to visible minority. That might switch soon. And it might be like, are you white? Okay, fuck. We need you. We need you. Like that might switch. So, you know, like we gotta be aware of that and just put ourselves in better positions to succeed and help each other. And that's one of the big things with Hybrids. If anyone's in my DMs, I've always been very transparent about how to get this done, right? Flip side, we're still a competitive environment, so we don't give away all the gems, and you know, keep it moving and help each other out. But that's where we can kind of, with the Army especially, I'm definitely looking to recruit all this. If you are a mother watching this,
let him know.
You just need to hit me up. We can talk. If your kid is, and I don't want he's bad, send him to the Army. No, he's brilliant, send him to the Army. Like, he's bad, we'll sort him out too, like, obviously. But let's stop thinking like that too. He's bad, let me send him to the Army. No. Because we're taking brilliant people too. Like, we're a space where we can make brilliant people even better. And we want brilliant people to make our organization even better. True. So this is not send him so, like, you know, he fixes up, because don't get it twisted. You can send a bad kid to the army and he'll get worse. Like, remember, we're building soldiers here. So, you know, and to be very honest with you, a bully can come to the army and get worse. You just get stronger. Get a knowledge of a weapon.
And now then it's a wrap. Then you have a real problem.
Then we got a real problem, right? You know, does that happen? Of course. There's people that are coming to get better, stronger, to for their own agendas. So don't think it's like, it's not a perfect world over there. Like, we're not saving everybody, and you know, not everybody's there for the right reasons. That's why when I teach, I try to make sure people know, like, why are you here? Because it can't be money. I'm saying that Trudeau, it can't be money. Raise that price. You know what I'm saying? It can't be money. So why are you here? And that, you know, it's unfortunate to say this, but if we look at society today and everything beyond, you have to remember, like, it's not far-fetched for someone to be here to learn what they got to learn to do something bad. It's not far-fetched. So, you know, that's why we vet people. That's why they go through a heavy application process. It's important because at the end of the day, it's not far-fetched for someone to join, spend 5 years just to learn everything to spin it back. And in a negative way. So, you know, I just want people to know that the army is there. It is definitely a good career path. Again, if I could go back, they offer army co-op. And we're the only co-op that pays. So while in school getting credits, you're getting paid. Yeah, you're in the army, but you're getting paid to not be in school and to, you know, get your credits. And at that point, you're already ahead of the game. So not why wait till school's done or to be in university? You're 16, you're fresh, you're young, you're training your body to be max performance and survive the harsh summers, because it gets hot too. And then the deadly winters. And then by the time you're like 25, you're like, yo, I can do anything. And you're jumping out of planes and all that fun stuff. There's different things too, but the army's a good space, and I think a lot more people should look into it for sure.
Dope. All right. Hybrid Garbs. Man. Where do we start? Where does it start for you?
You know what?
What's the backstory?
I keep leaning into my, I just want to spit fire in the beach right now. Like, honestly, and then sometimes I like rap to myself like this. This is a perfect opportunity to be like, yo, listen, I've been holding on to this line. But Hybrid Garbs, like, honestly, guys,
it's flooding the streets right now. I see it in the community. It's growing. I see you got your spot.
Yeah.
But that started from somewhere.
Yeah, Hybrid Garbs, man, we got to go back. Like, so for those, obviously, we're gonna be talking. Like, we're gonna be talking some deep stuff, but like, I didn't start Hybrid Garbs. That's why I don't like to say like I'm the founder, the creator. Like, I'm the owner. I just own it now. My twin brother Jamar started Hybrids at the time. So he started. I wasn't even involved at all. I was just there to take pictures and look like, you know, like, oh, the other side of the wolf. Like, that was my role. I didn't care for it. I didn't believe in it. And, you know, like, you know, I don't know how many friends come up to people and say they want to be rappers, and how many people like condone it, or how many people kind of say that's. So that was like, when he said he wanted to start a clothing line, it was very much like the whole rapper thing. Like, oh, you want to be a rapper? God help us. Like, you want to start a clothing line? What's gonna make our clothing line pop versus the other 100 clothing lines out there? So I was very negative towards the situation. And I was away with the army still early, so I was doing what I was doing. I wasn't really trying to. Like, I was very systematic, you know, school, soccer, army. So very, very organized, very trying to do what I'm doing. So when he started it, he had started it with the two wolves, and they're supposed to represent us. And like our slogan, "There's no good without the bad," was literally just like, there's no me without him, and no him without I, just as twins, you know, identical and all. And I just thought it was weird. So you know, looking back on it now, like, good on him for picking the logo, because people are like, yo, the logo's so cool. I'm like, you know, I kind of walk other brands through how they can start. Like, finding a logo is actually very hard.
It's very hard, because it has to represent you forever.
And you change it, and that's committing to like rebranding. You don't really want to do that. You want to pick it once. So him getting that was like now that I think, I'm like, yeah, this guy was smart. He was onto something. But he started, it was going well. Honestly, I was only like, he called me, picture, cool, and then done. I knew nothing of it really, wasn't really in depth with it until I remember he took me to LA. We went to LA. He took a few of us, and when like he had us all in the shirts and the t-shirts and stuff, and I'll never forget this. We went out and we were in a booth beside, like, at the time, Young and May was just bumping. So Ooh just came out.
So she was
like
big
around there. So she was like right there, and I'm like, so he's calm and collected. He's cool. I'm like coming out of the army, like, I'm giddy right now. I'm trying to like find a way to get this picture.
Yeah.
Like, I'm trying to get over there. But I don't know how to do it subtly. And I can go like this. He's like, yo, stop looking. Like, he's telling me like, you know, like
chill out
and be cool. And I was like, nah, like you see, like, so she was there. And then there's these dancers called Les Twins. They're from France. And they came over in the booth. I didn't know who they were. But he's talking to them. I just seen their twins. I'm like, okay, cool. Twins of twins. Like, this is kind of cool. And then I saw who they were after. I'm like, yo, I was beside this guy. So now I'm like telling people, I'm like, yo, we're in LA. We're here with Young and May. We're here at this. We're here at that. And what when I saw like they brought the bottles out, and you know you could get like those your little name or something on the presentation thing. It just said hybrids, and I was like, what the fuck?
Oh, that's tough.
And then like there were girls there, and I was starstruck. I was like, holy shit, this might work. Now I'm like, you know, seeing is believing. So he's over there. We went with some manufacturers there. We gave some people t-shirts. He had like some rappers wearing it, and it was just like bomb, bomb, bomb. And I remember looking at the Instagram one day, it was like 106 followers, and all of a sudden it's like 1,500.
Oh, geez.
So I'm like, what the fuck? And then everybody was just like wearing it. I didn't even have stuff.
Yeah.
And people were wearing it. And I was like, what? So I'm like, yo, give me some stuff. Like, he's like, you got paper? I was like, what?
Oh, wow. Twins.
Yo, let me tell you something. Honestly though, Jamar definitely taught me like we're twins, but he was definitely my older brother. Like he taught me like, you gotta really work for your stuff. You can't expect handouts from people. Like,
facts. I agree though.
Remember the man's my twin brother, eh?
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, he had money. We'll talk about that after. But you think I could go to him and say, yo, I need this without a whole conversation about why I should have it for myself?
And what are you doing with it? And you know, now that I look back on everything he was trying to show me, it's like, yeah, you have to be your own man, stand on your own twos. Like, you know, Shaq said it to his kids. I think I see
Shaq
that.
said, yo, just so you know,
my
I'm
money.
rich.
Yeah.
You guys are not rich. I'm rich. And yeah, like, yo, get it on your own. Cause you know, and it's funny because I'll say like, you know, if he goes, and he did go, but it's like, now he's not here. Now I gotta figure it all out. So when before all that happened, I really started to get involved. I had come back from the army. Now we're spending more time. So you have to understand.
You're away from him.
We are away for a long time. So when I got my soccer scholarship, I was in New York and he was in Indiana. Okay. Then I came
playing soccer as well.
Soccer, yeah.
Oh, okay, cool.
He wasn't. I was better at first, and then all of a sudden, I don't know what happened, but he got better. But that's another conversation. Yeah. But yeah, then he went to Indiana. I went to New York, and then he left Indiana, and actually he moved to Thailand. He started playing there, and then he went to pro, and then he went to Belgium for a bit, and I was in the army. So like we're talking about like there's like a 7-year gap. So we're seeing each other for birthdays. Christmas and stuff like that, but we're not learning each other. Like I had never
growing together at that point.
never gotten drunk with him, like ever. One time I got drunk with him, he was like, he looked at me, and he's like, "This, I'm never going." Like he was so embarrassed, and like I was having a great time.
Yeah.
And like remember, so I went to school in Sudbury, so for lack of better words, I'm chilling with white guys.
Yeah.
So we're getting drunk. I don't know what the cool black way to get drunk is, but I'm getting drunk. I'm drinking a drink. I'm getting drunk. I'm drinking to drunk. So I got drunk, and he was so, you know what though? There was a shooting that happened at the club. So we were in the club together, and he was with like, bro, I don't really like going to clubs downtown. I'm more of the soca feder, the dancer guy. Yeah. Because the clubs downtown are very much stand up and
back.
Stand up, watch and stuff.
The vibe's a little different. It's a little tense.
Yeah, very tense. So they bring this big bottle, like it was like a bottle like of one of the fucking Grey Gooses. It's this tall. Yeah. But they left it with me. So I'm like, hey, girls are coming. Shot. We're having shots. I get wasted. And then I never forget it. The bouncer was like, yo, you gotta go out the back door. I was like, that's kind of weird. Like, so I'm going to back door by myself. I'm like, this is weird. But I'm like drunk. And this is when like, now I would never, but I was like, okay, take me out the back door. Like, innocent me walking out the back door. And bro, I sat down because the bouncer just left me there. I sat down, I'm like, drunk. Oh God. People are walking by like, he's wasted. Yep, I'm wasted. And I see him coming and he's snapping. He's like, are you fucking stupid? You can't get drunk in Toronto. Remember, I haven't been in the city for a while. Yeah. I'm away. So he's in the city. you can't get drunk down here like that. Are you crazy? You know what could happen, mom. And I'm like, yo, why are you yelling? My head, I can't hear you. Why are you yelling? And then from there, he's like, I never want to see that again. So we really didn't get to that point of really like getting drunk or having fun together like that. That was not, he would go to his parties and I'd go to my parties. We didn't go to parties together because I just want to have fun and be free.
He's more serious.
But he was more serious. And so, we grew apart from that. So now we're back together. I'm learning what he wants with hybrids.
What year is this?
This is like 2017 now.
Okay.
So 2017, we're back and hybrids is booming now. Now we're both involved and like people are seeing it. We're doing pop-ups. It's getting there. People are buying it. It's still called Hybrids with the Z. It's getting.
You took the Z.
So I'll tell you why. But it was getting crazy, and then we started to really and I wasn't privy to a lot of things that were going on. One, because I didn't care, but two, because he also kept me away from it. A lot of the stuff that he was doing and stuff. So we were just having fun. Like it was just my brother's he's the guy right now. He's a cool guy. So hybrids is going well. I'm learning it. I'm realizing where he wants to take it and paying attention now. So then 2018 comes and I'm still working a little bit. A lot of the army guys do security downtown. So they got me into that. And one of my boys opened a company, so I'm just doing security with them. I'm doing a lot of driving security too. So picking up guys and like whipping them around. We had like concealed carries at that time too. So we're just doing cool like bodyguard stuff. Dope stuff. So one night, and like he hit me up. He's like, "Yo, I haven't seen you in a while." I'm like, "Yeah, I haven't seen you too." So we eat at a restaurant in Rexdale. Why the hell we're eating in Rexdale at this point? It's fucking that honestly that didn't make sense. But you know what? Anyone who knows, the good food is in the hood. Like, Eglinton has it just hits right. So you're not gonna get the great food that you would get like down in Rexdale in like downtown Toronto. Facts. So we're going to this restaurant to eat, and we're there. And if you know anything about English, like foreshadowing, like now that I know foreshadowing and seeing everything happen, there were so many moments in that conversation that it was God talking through him to me. So many moments now that I'm hearing what he said, like he was like, listen, just stay on it. This is gonna work. Hybrid's gonna be big. Trust me. Just keep on it. You're gonna make it happen. And the conversation was just all about like, trust me, it's gonna happen.
Just
believe in it. And I'm there like eating food, like, bro, shut up.
What are you talking about?
Man, like, why are you preaching to me about what your career is gonna look like with this brand? Like, I had work too, so I was like, yeah, like I don't care, but cool, yeah. He's paying for the food, so that's all I really care about. It's here to eat. So, but he was saying some things, and then he looked at me and he's like, yo, trust me when I say to you, you just have to believe in something, and it'll happen, and I'll show you it's gonna happen. Don't worry. It's gonna we're gonna make it. And he just kept saying that. So then, obviously, like fast forward, we ate for like 2 hours. I had to leave and I was on my motorcycle, and he just sold his motorcycle. So he was like, oh, let me ride it around the plaza. And I was upset because I was like, I got to go to work. And there was moments where he was like very selfish about my time because he didn't have to work, right? So he rode around the block, and then I got him off. I'm like, yo, you're so selfish. Like, I got to work. He's like, yo, I'll pay you to stay with me.
Wow.
He's like, how much you making tonight? I was like, security is like $120 for the night. Yeah. You finesse your way out the door. You get like, the people paying to get in. So sometimes you can make some money from security. But he's like, I'll pay you whatever it is you make at that door. I'll pay you just to spend time with me.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And Corey, like thinking about that and seeing what happened now, like.
That was a sign.
Yeah. It's not even that it was a sign. It's just depressing. Yeah. It just hurts because it's like, the man would have paid me, my twin brother, would have paid me to spend time, but work, money, like things that we have to worry about is like making money. And the same lessons he's trying to teach me about standing on my own 2 feet. If I had called into work that night, I wasn't like, you're not going to pay me for just tonight. You're going to pay me for the weekend because they're going to get pissed that like I stepped on the night. They probably won't have me for the weekend. So I ended up saying no. I was like, get off my bike. I'm like, yo, you're so fucking selfish. Like, bro, so I can't, fuck with you. And that's the last thing I said to him. So then I'm now like getting on my bike, and like there's 2 exits to the plaza, and normally I always like can I say bye whatever, but I was so mad I put my helmet on and I left out one way, and then he was still walking to the car, And yeah, that's when, you know, whatever, like the guys came, they grabbed him.
So that was your last conversation?
Yeah. So him begging me to stay and me saying, fuck it. Yeah. That was the last conversation. So like when I tell you about mental health and how shit gets real, like, you know, but there's also the reality is if I stayed, my parents could have lost 2 sons. You see what I'm saying?
Jeez.
You gotta like, I'll sit back and be like, you know, blame myself. And then I'll think, cause now that, so remember, this is like, hindsight. This is Omar.
Yeah.
Now that I'm Wolf, and I'll explain to you what I mean by that. My parents would have lost 2 sons, or we both be in jail.
Yeah.
One of the two was happening, right? If I hadn't stayed there. But now that I see how things were, listen, the conversation in the restaurant was the conversation that don't get this up, believe in it, and it'll happen. So if anyone ever says anything about hybrids, yo, we're gonna make it. We're gonna make it. It's gonna be the biggest thing because I believe in it. And you know, it's sad because there, you know, we all talk about what could have done, should have done. Like 4 days before, he had told me, you know, the motorcycle thing, you can get like a headset that you can listen to music and answer your calls from your helmet while you're riding. Shit costs $400.
Yeah.
I'm on army money right now. Like, you know what I'm saying? So the shit costs $400, and I didn't want to get it. And he was like, he said to me, he's like, bro, if something happens and I call you, you can't pick up. Like, because I was always riding.
Yeah.
Always riding. And he's like, if I call you and you don't pick up and something happens to me, what are you gonna say then? So I was like, bro, if you're so concerned, go buy it for me then. So I never got it. When I was riding that day,
the same night
when he got taken, I did actually speak to him while they had him, because like this whole ransom money shit was going on. But before I got the call, I missed 17 calls.
Everything black on black, nigga, if I started that facts on